Okay, so welcome to session number 3 of this particular 4-part series called Meditation for Success. For the benefit of those who have probably missed the first 2 sessions and are directly logging on to the third session, what we are doing is we are basically covering a specific concept of meditation called Anapanasati meditation. And our idea is to explain this concept, teach it to all the participants, and explain how it can be useful for enhancing your academic success and your professional success in your careers. So that is the agenda of these 4 parts. Today we are on part number 3. And so what we're going to, so in the first part, what we looked at is we just explained the context of the sessions and said that it is basically pertaining to success. I mean, while the session is about meditation, but then the whole perspective that we have is about how it can be utilized for becoming successful in our academics and professions. In the second session, we talked a little more about that, dwelled on it further. And today, we're going to dig deeper into the science of meditation, because I have seen that unless see, in our extremely busy life, we have so many things to do. Now, unless we are convinced that this is something that's going to give us benefits, generally we tend to ignore it, because the perception is that meditation is when you really grow old, or meditation is for people who are old and all of that. So that's unfortunately a myth, and therefore, for youngsters and for everyone to understand why it can be taken up early in life, and the earlier the better, I'm going to explain some of the science behind meditation. But today I thought I'll have a little bit of a different format. Let us first begin with meditation, because I just thought in the previous 2 sessions, I want to take a little. I think now that you got exposure to the basic technique, etc., I was thinking we do a little longer one, not too long, but little longer. So we first complete that, and then we will have the conversation on some amount of science of meditation. So today we'll first start. So let me just share the screen and in the. Okay. So all right. So I'm going to quickly once again explain the technique of meditation for those of you who are just like a refresher, in case you have forgotten. It's a very simple process. So we are going to again today do the heart and brain coherence process, which is called the heart elevation. And with heart elevation, we are then going to do the Anapanasati meditation. So let me explain what is heart elevation. So what I was telling in the second session, I have explained a little elaborately about what is heart elevation and what is the science behind it. But in short, I'll tell you that many times, one of the reason why we get stressed or we get unclear is because our heart thinks about one thing, but the brain is thinking of something else. And therefore, there is an incoherence between the heart and the brain. So the process of the process of creating a coherence and alignment between what is the heart thinking and what is the brain thinking is called heart and heart brain coherence. And that coherence is achieved by a process called heart elevation. So in the heart elevation, what we do is we think of any incident from our lives, either in the past, or it could be in the present, or an incident that we are imagining about the future. It could be anything. Now, the requirement is that it is an incident that makes our feelings on top of the world. See, in the sense, we are either extremely joyful and happy, so that incident reminds us about our memories, which are full of joy and happiness, or it could be an incident that is pretty strange, but the internet has just gone today. Are you all? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear.
Yeah, okay. Strange, but today the broadband has just got disconnected. So I have just logged on from my mobile internet now. Very strange. Okay. All right. So I was explaining the concept of heart brain elevation. I mean, sorry, heart brain coherence. So essentially, you need to think of any incident that brings you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, or a lot of satisfaction, some feeling of accomplishment. So maybe you stood first in a running race in your school, and you're standing on the podium and you are feeling so happy. Or maybe you've gone out with your family on a vacation, and for the first time you're probably experiencing um, yeah, and you are experiencing those feelings of joy, satisfaction, etc. So when you think of those situations, the heart starts getting in coherence with the brain. They start getting in alignment. So that is the process called heart elevation. Starting my sharing once again. Okay. So yeah. So and then of course Anapanasati meditation. So in that I will explain the posture. I'll explain the basic process. So in this meditation, the goal of this meditation is to decrease your thoughts and empty your mind. And for that, you either sit on a floor or you sit on a chair. If you are sitting on a floor with a lotus petal kind of a pose, that's fine. If not, you can just sit on a chair. And if it's possible, try and keep your back straight, but it is not necessary. What is necessary is that you are experiencing total comfort. So that's what you need to really experience. So be very comfortable. With respect to your hands, what you do is you put fingers into fingers like this. So you are forming a loop by closing your by putting in fingers into fingers, and then you cross your feet at your ankles. So when you cross your feet at your ankle, you have formed a loop of your body. Now this pose, sorry, this pose helps in retaining the energy that gets generated during meditation inside, and that energy becomes pretty useful for all of us. So we form that loop. Now, if you're wearing glasses, please remove your glasses. And I'm going to play some music, and the music will help you in experiencing and kind of switching off from your thoughts. So I'm going to do that. And I may give some amount of guidance, little amount of guidance. You don't have to try and listen forcefully to what I'm saying, but if you can easily listen to the instructions without much of an effort, you can follow them. But don't force yourself to think, because the idea is to close your eyes and observe. In this process of meditation, the technique is so simple. You have to take any point on the nose. It can be either at the tip of the nose, at like the door of your nostrils, or you can take the point which is at the beginning. I mean, that's where the nose begins. So it's called the third eye. So it's the point between your eyebrows and at the intersection of the two eyebrows and the beginning of your nose. So either the third eye, or you can look at the door of your nostrils. For those who are starting meditation newly, it's easier to concentrate on a spot which is on the nostrils, in the door of the nostrils. So you just have to look at that spot, and you have to observe the movement of air coming inside and going outside. So the inhalation of the air and the exhalation of the air are the two things that you have to observe. That is all that you have to do. And if you feel that, I mean, suddenly you may realize that you're thinking about, oh, I have to do this work, I have to prepare my dinner, or whatever. I mean, I have to make a report before I sleep. So if there are any kind of thoughts like that, the moment you realize you don't have to resist the thoughts. But if you get the thoughts, just bring back your focus on the point on your nose. That's all that you have to do, and focus on your breathing. So I'm just starting the music now. So close your eyes, and do not open the eyes unless I ask you to open them. And I'm starting the music But before that, I would now like you all to think of any incident of your life that brings memories of joy. Think of an event in your life when you have experienced some level of achievement or joy or happiness or satisfaction. Try to relive those experiences. It can be a time that you have played as a young child, playing with friends, or it could be playing with small children, playing with babies, or it could be getting your first job offer. It could be a promotion. Continue to keep your eyes closed. And with the positive energy that you are experiencing right now, you can try and project this energy to wherever you want. So you can project this positive energy to your family members, to your friends, inside your housing complex. And you can also expand yourself by projecting this energy on the entire city where you stay or the country where you stay. And now, keeping your eyes closed, we are now going to start breath mindfulness meditation. Your goal is to empty your mind. Emptying your mind is nothing but decreasing the number of thoughts that come in your mind. So, for that, you don't have to resist your thoughts. You just have to focus on the air on any point on your nose at the time of inhaling and exhaling. You need not follow the path of the air inside the nose, but just focus when the air is getting in and going out. Keep doing that. I'm just starting the music once again. of meditation is to empty your mind. It is a 21st century skill, highly recommended for everyone and strongly recommended for youngsters. Dr. Albert Einstein had mentioned that a human being goes through his entire life, and in many cases 90 to 95% of the potential of a human being lies untapped. One of the outcomes of meditation is you start tapping into this huge 90 to 95% of your untapped potential. And the way to do that is by relaxing. Because when you relax, you are slowly moving from your conscious mind towards your subconscious mind. Continue to keep your eyes closed. Avoid making any movements. If you get distracted by the external sounds or by any thoughts, just come back to the point on the nose. Watch the breath during inhalation and exhalation. beings are more of energy and less of matter. While we consider our bodies to be physical matter, scientists have explained the structure of our bodies as more of energy. And meditation practice helps us in becoming more and more productive by communicating through these energy levels. Continue to keep your eyes closed. Keep observing the point on your nose. Observe the air getting in and going out. Now, we're going to slowly come out of the meditation state. Take it very easy. Think of any individual or any circumstance of your life for which you are deeply grateful. Think of various people in your life for whom you are genuinely thankful, your parents, starting with your parents and your teachers and friends, family, and so many others who have contributed to what you are. In your mind, express your gratitude for them. Gratitude opens the doors for receiving grace. And now, keeping your eyes closed, slowly get your fingers out from the fingers and hold your palm on your eyes. And on the count of five, slowly open your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can slowly open your eyes. Are you there? Or you're still in that meditative state? Yeah, Kavita ma'am. How was the experience?
Very good.
Okay. And were you able to experience any kind of emptiness?
Yeah,
Okay.
some fraction of seconds.
Right, right. Yeah,
And since it is a guided meditation, it works out faster than when you do it.
correct. Correct. That's the
When
advantage.
you do alone, there is no direction. But when somebody is guiding you, so you are back on track again and again, time and again.
Yeah, that's the advantage. So one is guidance keeps on track,
Mm.
and second is
Mm.
you also get the benefit of the group energies because when you meditate in a group, uh,
Mhm.
it, uh, so there are studies which have shown that when you meditate in a group, either in
Mm.
a physical setup like a physical hall, or
Mm.
even on a online setup, the
Mm.
it is easier and faster and deeper to get into a meditative state than to do it alone. And therefore, group meditations work very well. Yeah. So, what about Ishita, Milind? You want to share any experience? This is your first session, live
Yes,
session
yes,
for
sir.
both of you.
It is
No,
my
for
first session, so
you, yeah, for Milind, yeah.
I'm feeling like relaxed,
Okay, feeling relaxed, nice.
relaxed.
Ishita,
Yes.
what are you saying? Very refreshing. Had some of the thoughts. Yeah, thoughts will come. Okay. So thoughts is okay. Thoughts cannot be resisted, but thoughts should not be resisted. Great. So what I'm going to do is, see, today we did a little more than 10 minutes. And it's a good beginning because 10 minutes sitting like this is not easy at all in our day-to-day hustle bustle. So it's a good beginning. Okay, so this is the technique is as simple as this. This is all that you have to do. Now I am going to show you some slides and try and explain some of the science behind it. I would like to end on time because all of us, I mean, all of you all also must be having your schedules, etc. So since we started 5 minutes late at 8:05, if you all are okay, I'll take it till 8:50. So we'll extend the session by 5 minutes and then we'll end at 8:50. So till that time, whatever best I can explain, I will do that, and the rest of the part I will do it in the final fourth session. I mean, the science of meditation can go on and on, but then let's see how it goes. So okay, so see our modern day. I'm going to talk a little bit about our modern day lifestyle. So, I mean, I know for a fact, since I know all of you all personally, it's a small group. So one of you is a student or a working executive, or ma'am has been working in the past at a senior position and now, of course, exploring other things. So in our modern day, when we live in cities, we have an explosion of thoughts, predominantly because of our connectedness and technology. So the kind of thoughts that we experience today is very different from what we experienced about 20 years back. And I don't know if you all are aware, but as per studies done, we get typically about 50,000 thoughts in a day, 50. So any human being who lives in a little bit of a stressful condition in the modern city today experiences about 50,000 thoughts. Now, if you look at this 50,000 in a day means that even if you're sleeping for 6 7 hours in a day, we also get thoughts where we are sleeping, and they come in the form of dreams and all of that. So all put together, it's expected to be about 50,000. Now there are now that's a large number, right? 50,000 thoughts, you divide it by 24 hours. So more than 3,000 to 4,000 thoughts per hour, depending upon what time of the day it is, and we are not even used to it. So when Ishita, you mentioned that you had some thoughts, uh, you were conscious of the fact that you had some thoughts because you were doing meditation. But if you are not in a meditation, you would not even, you may be eating your food, or you may be doing something else, and you would be having thoughts and you would not even be aware of them. Yeah. So, but they are all there. Now, now, there are four types of thoughts broadly that can be classified. So, we all have heard about positive thoughts and negative thoughts, but there are two more categories. So, you have positive thoughts, you have negative thoughts, then something beyond positive thoughts is called miraculous thoughts. Miraculous thoughts. And something beyond negative thoughts is called disastrous thoughts. So, there are actually four types of thoughts: disastrous thoughts, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, and miraculous thoughts. Okay, I have learned this from. I used to listen to videos of Patriji, who's no longer there, but he was the founder of PSSM, and from his one of his videos, I took up this concept of four types of thoughts. And the other thing is, I've also learned from videos of Chandra sir, who I was talking to you about the other day. So this, see, out of this 50,000 thoughts, I mean, these thoughts are uncontrolled. It's not that you are thinking and getting them, but they are just there and they are just coming, and therefore they are uncontrolled. And there is also research that says that 90% of these thoughts tend to be towards in the negative domain. Some of them may be actually disastrous, like, what if I don't get a job because of AI? What if I lose my job? These are typically classified as disastrous thoughts. Okay, or negative thoughts related to ourselves, our family members, etc. That's how our we are all programmed. I mean, whether you are in the United States of America or whether you are in India, or it's all the same. So 50,000 thoughts and 90,000 negative means we are talking about almost 45,000 negative thoughts in a day. Okay. Now that is what leads to stress. So why is there such a lot of stress? Is because stress is not because the jobs are stressful. Stress is not because an academic curriculum is stressful. Stress is because the thoughts that you get are almost 50,000. If you are a highly stressed out person, you may have more than 60,000 or even 70,000 thoughts in a day. Okay. And because your mind is used to thinking negative things, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? It is those kind of thoughts, negative and disastrous thoughts, that leads to stress. So what first thing that I want all of us to understand is that it is not the job or it is not the academics which is stressful. It is your thoughts which makes it, which gives you stress. Now, what is stress? Stress is nothing but uncontrolled negative thoughts. That is what builds stress. And the moment you have stress, you get into something called as the body moves into a fight or flight mode. So I'm going to quickly explain this. What is a fight or flight mode? So uh, flight or fight mode is simple. See, now when you, let's say you are walking and you see a dog like that on the road, and suddenly you find that you are staring at a dog like this. What's going to happen? And that moment, you're going to get stressed out. A huge number of thoughts are coming in the mind in terms of, what if a dog bites me? What if the dog pounces, all sorts of things would happen. Now, typically what happens is when you are under stress, the body has got a mechanism. There is a switch inside the trigger that puts you into a fight or flight mode. Now, fight or flight mode, what is that mode? Now, in that mode, there are three things that happen. See, a body is very intelligent, and there are a lot of chemicals inside the body called biochemicals. So the moment you are in a fight or flight mode, there are two chemicals that are immediately released by the brain and by the hormones, and these chemicals are dumped into the blood. Now these two chemicals are, one of them is called the adrenaline and the second is called cortisol. Once the adrenaline and the cortisol is dumped, now they are extremely useful chemicals when you are in a danger mode, because what happens is they give you suddenly a lot of supply of additional energy. Now, a body also knows that when you are in some kind of a danger, what happens is, first and foremost, if there is a danger, then the body feels that you may want to fight that danger. And therefore, it supplies an additional amount of energy and bloodstream into your arms and your hands. So your hands and arms get more energy if you have to fight. That's number one. Number two is, the body also realizes that if I am not able to really fight, then I will have to run away. And therefore, it also supplies a lot of energy to your legs and your feet to run away. And third is, while all that is happening, your body knows that there's a danger happening, and therefore you got to be really alert. And therefore, you kind of lose the sleep. You become very alert. There is a lot of blood that also gets into the inside towards your eyes, so that your eyes are sharp. The mind is very sharp, and you are alert. So specifically, the legs, the hand, and the eyes is where the energy is pumped into the body. Now, the moment let's say this is what is happening. This is the intelligence of the body. Now, the moment the dogs, let's say the dog looks at you and just walks away. Sorry, I had set an alarm for 8:45, so it just kind of buzzed off. There are 6 more minutes for us to end the session. So 6 more minutes. Yeah. So what happens is, the moment the dog passes away, you know that the danger has gone. Now, body understands that the danger has gone, and then the extra energy, so the cortisol and adrenaline, which was there in the body, that gets withdrawn. And then once that gets withdrawn, the extra energy that had been given to the legs and the feet, etc., that is again withdrawn when the dog passes away. Now, why the body has been designed like this is because when human beings were born, we were born with those survival instincts. So it is that survival instinct. So they used to stay in caves, and they used to stay, and there would be danger of animals and all of that. And that is why the body has been programmed like that, so that the moment the sensitivity towards a danger is very high, because that is what has made human beings survive and live for so thousands and thousands of years. So it's a process of evolution. Now, if you see in the modern day, what has happened in the modern day, these kind of dangers, physical dangers, are actually not there. But what happens is, so I'm just going to some of the effects of meditation, and I'm going to explain this with each of these effects. Okay, so sorry, before that happens. Okay, so now these kind of dangers are not there because the life is much more civilized now. But the thing is, today the danger, it's different. For example, today there are different you may not be confronted with wild animals today, but suddenly, let's say you are working, your boss tells you that, okay, there is a presentation and I would like you to do a presentation tomorrow. Now you have a fear. Now the fear of a dog biting you and a fear of getting judged by your boss, the brain doesn't distinguish between the two fears, and therefore you start experiencing that same fear internally. Or if you have an exam for which, let's say this exam, based on the examination, it's going to determine whether you are going to get a good grade, or maybe some kind of an entrance exam which is going to give you an admission, you start thinking, what if I don't get crack this entrance examination? Then where is my career going to go? What if my friends get through and I don't get through? Now again, so there is some amount of anxiety. Again, this anxiety and anxiety of getting bitten by a dog, for brain, it's an anxiety, and therefore it again emits cortisol and adrenaline. Now, suddenly you're thinking about something, and then you get an Instagram notification which tells you that maybe you had someone has posted that they are traveling to Maldives, or someone has posted a great photograph with a great dress, and as a student you feel, oh, I don't have that dress, and when will I get that kind of a dress? Or and then again you have cortisol and adrenaline which is getting pumped into the body. So what is happening? And then suddenly you get a call saying that you have to make that submission tomorrow, and your classmate says, oh, that if you don't submit tomorrow, then you will lose marks in that, and then you will lose your CGPA will come down. And then suddenly, I mean, I'm just so you could be a student, you could be a manager, a professional, etc. Suddenly you get a message from your colleague that, oh, the sales of the today's sales, which were supposed to be X, are less than half, and therefore you are getting scared that my boss is going to probably ask me tomorrow and make me answerable. So what is happening is, before you recover and before the levels of cortisol are coming within manageable limits in the body, suddenly there is an additional piece of information or news that's coming to you because of the technological devices, which keeps on generating those biochemicals which are required only for the fight or flight mode. They are not required. So when you are studying, what are the chemicals that are required? So now I'm going to slowly cover some of the other aspects. So see, when you're studying, you are expected to be having a very sharp brain. Now what has happened is, since you are in a state of stress, there is also these days stress of relationships, friendships, and so on and so forth, so many other things that are happening. Now, when you are in the state of stress, the energy that your body has is basically concentrated on the legs and on the hands. And therefore, obviously, the other organs of your body. Now, what are the other organs? Your brain, your digestive system, your excretory system, your endocrine system, which is the all the hormones and the glands, etc. So the energy, there is a complete energy imbalance, because the energy that otherwise would have gone to the digestive system, or to the brains, or to the um, uh, your kidneys, etc., the liver, etc., that energy is getting diverted to legs and hands. Now, when you're sitting and studying, you actually don't need energy in the hands, but the body has given it because you are stressed, and therefore the energy in the brain is low. And therefore, the energy in the brain is low. Therefore, you are not sharp, and you are probably not able to remember you're not able to understand what you are reading. You're not able to remember what you are reading. And this is what causes problems in academics. Similarly, if you're a professional, you are supposed to make a great project report. But instead of the sharpness of the brain that is required to make a project report, you are stressed about the fact that what if the report doesn't go well with my investors or my bankers or my customers and so on and so forth. And therefore, the brain is not having that energy at the optimum levels, because the energy is diverted to the hands and feet. So it's 8:51, and I don't want to take you further, but I'm just going to show you one slide. And so, did you get that concept of why thoughts
Yeah.
lead to stress, and stress leads to a lack of functioning of brain and the other parts of the body, because the energy has been supplied somewhere else for a fight or for running away? And therefore the brain does not function at the optimum level, and therefore you forget what you have read. So right now I just want to leave it at this, and rest of the part I will cover in the next session. I mean, there's such a lot of science that I would love to keep covering that, but yeah, I mean, we have to keep it limited because of time constraints that all of us have. So any questions? Any questions that anyone has?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
During meditation, you said our mind is human being are more of energy than matter. What
That's
is
right.
that means? Yeah, what is that means?
Okay, so I'm just
Mm.
stopping this slide. Yeah. Now, see, if you see, I mean, if you look at our bodies, it looks like matter, right? Now, if you look at a computer, that looks like matter. If you look at a
Mm.
mobile, everything looks like solid matter. Now,
Mm.
there is a subject of science called quantum physics. And what now, I'm not getting into details because it will get too technical, but basically, if you look at any matter, it is composed of atoms and molecules, right? So whether it is our skin, whether it is our stomach, whether it is our brain, whether it is a laptop made of metal, everything is made of atoms and molecules. So when our
Mhm.
human body is also made of, there is 70% of the human body is water, and this
Mm.
water is nothing but H2O. And and H2O is again comprising of hydrogen and oxygen molecules and atoms comprise. Now, if you look at the structure of an atom, now so an atom has got a nucleus and it has got electrons. And if you look at it very scientifically, then electrons are revolving in orbits around the nucleus. So in one atom, you break an atom and observe it under an electron microscope, you will realize that there is a very small matter, which is the nucleus, and there is a lot of non-matter like space, and with that space electrons are just like there are planets which are revolving around the sun. So there is a planet which is, and then there is a lot of empty space around which they are revolving. Similarly, inside the atom also there is that nucleus, and there is an empty space around which the electrons are revolving. And therefore in every atom it is said that it is hardly less than, I mean, I don't have the exact figures right now with me, I don't recollect them, but it is less than 0.01% of matter in every atom, which is that nucleus, and comprising of the proton and neutron, and rest of that is empty space. And therefore, our body, which is comprised of nothing but atoms put together, has got a lot of empty space. And this electrons revolving is that energy. And therefore, it is the quantum physicists. See, initially there was this spirituality angle, which is different. We are not talking about that. But quantum physicists like Niels Bohr, Max Planck, etc., they have done research to actually explain that our bodies are more of energy than matter. And then Einstein came out with this theory of relativity. So it's a completely deep science called quantum physics. But I think if you have just understood this concept of an atom which has got extremely small part, which is nucleus, and a huge empty space, which is the non-matter where the electrons are evolving, that explains that we are hardly not even 0.1% matter and more of energy. And once you understand this, then you will start looking at meditation from a completely different perspective about how meditation can help in manifesting. So that's called energy science, and that's right now a little beyond the purview of what this, because that's a completely long discussion. Maybe some other time if we have to discuss that. But that's
Okay.
you got the concept broadly, right, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very accurately I got it.
Okay, great. All right. Any other question? All right. So, since there are no more questions, thank you very much. I know it was a small group, but I just look at it like this, that okay. I mean, I would love to have many more people around, because then the effectiveness and the productivity of these sessions go up. But then whatever numbers are there is fine. It's important. So I would then request you to actually start. See, now the next session is on Wednesday. That's going to be the concluding session of this 4-part series. I'm thinking that, we will have the session at 8 o'clock only, because I think, broadly 8 o'clock is more workable than 5 o'clock for many.
Yeah,
Do Yeah. So I think I will anyway post it on the group. So we will have one more session on Wednesday. But if you all can actually practice this tomorrow on your own, nothing like it. I would request you all to practice this. Now the videos are also I'm sharing, so you can. You also have seen the music that I'm playing, so you can either do it yourself, try and do it yourself, and see what happens. And then on Wednesday again we do this practice. Yeah. So I would like to
Yeah.
end on this note. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Ishita and Milind.
Thank you, sir.
And look
Thank
forward to have all of you all and many more of you on Wednesday.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Good night to all of you. Bye bye.
Good night. Bye.